Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. So it is July, which means the year is officially halfway over, and so I'm going to be doing a half yearly update on some of the books I read. So I wanted to tell you guys my 5 best books I've read so far this year and the 5 worst books I've read so far this year. I have read a total of 54 books so far this year, so you know, pretty good, I guess. I don't know, who's asking? No hate to any books, these are just my opinions, but this sounded fun and I figured you guys would want to see, so let's get into it. I'm going to do it like one and one, so I'm going to go with a bad book first and then we'll do a good book and then we'll keep going up. So the 5th worst book I read this year in 2025 was Open Throat by Henry Hoke. Please don't come at me. I know a lot of people love this book. I've talked about it on my channel before. I don't get it. I don't get what I was supposed to get out of this book. It follows a queer mountain lion in California, I believe, and he is just navigating through his life and observing humans, and we just kind of see his inner monologue. I don't know what I was expecting when I read this, but it wasn't what it was. The whole thing is written as, like I said, inner monologue, kind of stream of consciousness. So there's not a lot of punctuation, there's not capitalization. It's written in that style, that format, which is not my favorite, I'll admit. And then on top of that, it just wasn't very interesting to me, and it's very short. I read it super quickly in one sitting, but I just don't know what I was supposed to be getting out of it. I kind of read it and I was like, okay, that was words arranged in sentences. That's kind of as far as I got, so that's why it goes in the worst. But I didn't rate it super duper badly. I gave it 2 stars, so that's like not terrible, I guess. But yeah, it did make it into the bottom 5. But on a different note, the 5th best book I read this year in 2025 would be Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. This is the 3rd book in the Legendborn saga, and I have talked about Legendborn on my channel. I did a whole video just reviewing this book, and oh my god, I love Tracy Deonn. I love Legendborn. I am so excited for book 4 whenever that will come out. And Oathbound is just wonderful. I can't give you really a plot summary of Oathbound without spoiling the whole series, so I'll give you a summary of Legendborn. But essentially, Legendborn, we follow our main character, Bree, who is attending this university, and she goes, and her first few days at school, she realizes some weird things that are happening. She sees this weird, like, demonic ritual thing, and she discovers that there is this secret sort of uppity society within the school, and she sort of integrates herself into this society, and there's magic. There's such a unique and cool magic system with, like, King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and like the way that they pass down magic. It's just so cool and interesting and unlike anything I've ever read before, and the characters in this book are top tier. Every character is so well fleshed out and they're just so wonderful, and you will literally fall in love with every single character. I love this cast of characters. It's definitely one of my favorites. If you're into fantasy, I highly recommend the series. Moving back to our worst books, the 4th worst book I read this year was Feybound. I, again, have talked about this before. I have already done my rant on this channel. I hated Feybound. I don't know what people like about this book. I don't understand. This whole book had no plot whatsoever. There was nothing happening, literally nothing going on. I don't understand what I was supposed to get out of this book. I don't understand what was supposed to be entertaining or enjoying or like make me think. There was literally nothing going on. We have these 3 like species. There's like elves, fairies, I don't even remember, but we have these 3 species that are all living like not in harmony, and some of them think the others are extinct and some of them hate the others and they're fighting and all this stuff, and they all kind of like come together. I don't even know. I don't even remember. I've kind of blocked this book out of my memory. What I do remember is that there was no plot. The plot was terrible. There wasn't much characterization. Characters were terrible. There was a romance. I didn't like the romance. I wasn't into it. This whole thing, I just didn't like this book. I will say, I thought the writing style was good, and I liked that, but that's as far as it goes. What was actually written? Bad. Double thumbs down. I really didn't enjoy this book. And if you read this book and you liked it, please explain to me what you liked about it, because I hated it. I'm sorry. Now, the 4th best book I read this year so far is actually one that I read super recently, finished reading it yesterday, the day before yesterday, and that is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This was one of my most anticipated books this year. I am so glad it lived up to my expectations. I rated this book 5 stars, of course, and I am just obsessed with it. If you know me, you know that I am not into vampires. Blood freaks me out, so I don't do vampires. Me and vampires, we don't mesh well. I normally hate them, but this book, so good. It did vampires in a way that I haven't seen them done before, and it was just so good. I adored this book. I have to say, the direction that it ended up going in was not at all what I was expecting. It had me like shocked at the ending. I was not expecting it at all, and I love that. I love when a book can do that to me. We follow 3 different women at 3 different points in time, and then their lives, of course, all end up intersecting at one point. We follow Maria, Lottie, and Alice, and all 3 of them are very complex, very deep, very well fleshed out characters, and they're just so interesting, and their stories are so interesting. And we just follow them, and of course, it's vampires. They all end up being vampires, and we just follow their story and their growth and what it means to be a vampire, and it's just so interesting. These books were so magical, and of course, all 3 of these characters we follow are sapphic. Love that. And there was so much yearning and longing and pining and then hurt and like anguish and like anger and rage, and it was just all of these strong emotions that you want to see in these strong women in this book were there, and they were so good. I love the way V.E. Schwab writes her books. I love just everything about her, and this book is nothing less. This book is wonderful, and I highly recommend. Moving up, we have made it to the top, or should I say bottom 3. The 3rd worst book I read this year, I'm really scared to say because I know you guys are going to come for me. It is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what you like about this book. I read this book and I hated it. I hated it so much. And I know, because I'm not dumb, that Cardan and Jude end up together. And I don't know how in hell you guys can root for them. They are so terrible. He's literally bullying her. And also, I don't even like Jude. I don't like her characterization. I don't like anyone's characterization. I don't like the world. I feel like the fantasy world is very like juvenile. It feels very young, and I don't like it. And everything about this book, I did not enjoy. We follow our main character, Jude, who is like stolen from her home when she's little and taken to this other like magical world. And then we just follow her journey here where she's trying to become like a knight or something, I believe. And she's in this magical place, but she doesn't have powers. And it's just all this stuff going on. And everyone is so mean to her. They're bullying her. And she has this strenuous relationship with her 2 sisters. And there's so much random like blood and murder and death. And I was not expecting it. And it's just felt so out of place in this world, because the world, I'm telling you, it's so like juvenile. Like, it is the most basic fantasy world. Like, it feels like something that would be on Disney Channel. And then there's like all this death and murder and bullying and insanity going on. And it wasn't working for me. I don't know. I didn't enjoy this book. Again, if you enjoyed it, please comment down below. Let me know why, but I did not, and I would not recommend. The 3rd best book I read this year would be By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult. This is the first Jodi Picoult I've ever read, and I loved it. I adored this book. It was so good, and it's very different than all the other books on this list, so like that's how you know it was good. It is a historical fiction. It follows 2 different characters at 2 different times. I'm forgetting their names right now, which I know is so bad, and I'm so sorry, but we have our main character in like present day who's trying to write a play and get it to be adapted, but she's struggling in the playwright industry because she's a woman. And then it also follows her ancestor, Amelia Bassano, who is in this book the real author of many of William Shakespeare's plays. And so even though they're like existing at different points in time, they're in such a similar position dealing with these struggles that they're facing. And it's so interesting to see that comparison. I am a sucker for historical fiction. I really am. I need to read more good historical fiction. So if you have any historical fiction recs, specifically if they're like feminist or queer, please give them to me. I'm begging you. But this one was great. It was absolutely incredible. And if you're one of those people who hates the whole authorship debate with Shakespeare, I'm sorry, this probably isn't the place for you. But this was just so well done, and I adored it, and I really loved the strength of the characters and how well they were written. And there were so many lines in this book that I underlined, and I was like, that is incredible. I love that. And Jodi Picoult is such a brilliant writer, and she writes a lot of shit. So if you are like wanting to check her out, please go through her whole like list of works, because she has so much. Yeah, I absolutely adored this book. Highly recommend. The 2nd worst book I have read in 2025 is The Bone Witch. This one, again, I've talked about it on here before, so boring, so incredibly boring. This whole book, I think it was somewhere around 400 pages. Nothing happened. Literally nothing happened. It is part of a series, and I fear that this entire book was set up for what happens in the next book. Literally nothing happened in this entire book. I don't know how else to stress that. There was nothing going on, and it kind of felt like a TV show or like a kids TV show in the way that every chapter was kind of like its own story. Like it had its own little plot line, and there was like no overlying plot. That's what I mean by nothing happened. It was like day to day. Oh, here's the things we did today. Here's the things we did today. And it was like each day there was a plot line, barely. And then overall, nothing. Nothing happened from beginning to end. And I could not stand it. Every page was a bore. I should have DNF'd it. I just absolutely hated it. And I don't see this one talked about really online, so maybe that's for the best. But the cover's pretty. So if you ever pull up to your local bookstore, see this cover and think, oh, it's pretty, I should read it, don't. It's not good. On a different note, the second best book I read this year is none other than The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I absolutely adore this book. It is so good. It was the first book I read this year and the first 5-star, of course. It is just excellent. It is such an incredible book, and I know so many people dislike it. They say that it's confusing, they say that it doesn't have a plot, and you know what, maybe they're right. I can see that argument, but I still loved it. This story, it's told in a non-linear way, and it's told as a bunch of little stories that all come together to make one big story, and there's like different chapters that are told in different point of views and that have like, you feel like they have nothing to do with anything, but then they're all interconnected in the end, and it's all metaphors, and it's all like flowery descriptions, and it's just so whimsy, I think is the best word I can think to describe it, and I adore it. Now I get it, it's not for everyone, but for me, this book was perfect. This is like as close as you can get to writing an absolutely perfect, flawless book. It is so good. You guys don't even understand. This book is excellent and I adore it. The plot is a little hard to explain because like I said, it's a bunch of smaller stories making up one big one. The main plot follows our character named Zachary, and Zachary has found a book, and in this book there is a description of something that happened to him when he was young, an experience that he had that he never told anyone about. And so he's kind of freaked out because he's like, wait, how do they know about this? I never told anyone about this. How did someone write it out in a book? And so he does some research trying to figure out where the book is from, and his research leads him to this ball. And so he attends this ball, and from there everything spirals. It is so good. It is romantic, it is whimsical, it is magical, it is captivating. It is just such a good book. And if you are into fantasy that's maybe a little bit whimsy, a little bit confusing, this is up your alley. Please pick it up. It is excellent. Now, the absolute worst book I have read so far in 2025, drumroll please, Dogs of Summer, which sucks because I was so excited for this book. I picked it up, I read it, and I hated it. If you are into Paradise Rot, I feel like you'd be into Dogs of Summer. They give very much the same vibe. Me personally, I hated Paradise Rot. Absolutely hated it. So I also hated Dogs of Summer. Dogs of Summer follows this young girl who is in Spain, I believe, and it just follows her story of like kind of growing up. She's 10 or 11, I'm not sure, and we just kind of see her day-to-day life and her growing up with this best friend that she has, and it's just so weird. It's so bizarre. There is so much poop in this book, and you might think I'm trying to be funny. I'm not. There are so many scenes that are focused around shit in this book, and it is so, I don't know, I couldn't do it. I didn't like it. It's a very short book. I struggled through it and I hated it. I hated every second of it, and I don't know what people enjoy about this book. And I've said the same thing about Paradise Rot because I know so many people that adore Paradise Rot, but literally there's just so many scenes where people are pissing, and I'm like, why is this what you're into? I feel like the author had a fetish for pee. And that's the same way I feel about this one, except instead of pee, it's the other thing. I don't like it. I really hated it, and I'm sorry, and I know that maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's a metaphor for something greater. I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. But moving on from that, the best book I read so far this year, if you've seen any of these videos on my channel, you already know what I'm going to say, but shh, don't spoil it. Are you ready? Drum roll. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Of course, what else would it be? I freaking love Addie LaRue. I would sell my soul to read this again for the first time, I'm not gonna lie. Addie LaRue is so incredible. I was scared to read it because I started seeing reviews saying it was boring, saying it was slow, saying they hated it. How wrong are they? They are so wrong. I love this book. I adore it with every part of my soul. This book I feel so connected to. It's stuck on my mind. I think about this book at least once a day. There are songs that make me think of this book, that make me think of these characters. I am so in love with Addie, and oh my god, I love this book. It is so good. If you don't know, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue follows our main character, Addie, who is not really liking her life too much. I believe she's maybe going to be getting married off at the beginning. I'm not so sure. And so she ends up making a deal with the devil to live forever. And she, at the time, is so happy about this. She thinks it's going to be great because she's terrified of growing up. She feels like she's running out of time. So she wishes for more time. She wishes for eternity. And she gets it. She gets what she asked for. The only catch is that no one remembers her. She cannot leave a mark on anything. She cannot say her name. She cannot scratch something and have the line stay there. She can't write. She can't be photographed. And as soon as she leaves the presence of somebody, they forget about her. And her life is so tragic. But Addie is stubborn. Addie is not going to give up and let the devil have her soul. So she sticks out this life, and oh my god, her journey is incredible. I adore this book so much. There is a romance in it, but it's not like the biggest theme in the story. The biggest theme is just like, what are you if no one remembers you? Like, what does it matter if you can't leave anything behind? And it's so profound and it's so beautiful, and I just absolutely adore this book, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you are on the fence about reading it, please read it. I'm begging you. I will pay you to read it. No, I won't, but you get the idea. It is so good. It is incredible, and I absolutely adore this book, and I adore V.E. Schwab, and I want to read everything she's written. I'm trying, okay? But anyways, yes, highly recommend. Please read it. And those are the best and worst books I have read so far. Comment down below. Let me know if you've read any of these, and let me know what your best and worst books so far are. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Bye.